Yo, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Purpose Lab. I'm Marlon Vickers. Thank you for joining my podcast. On my podcast, we're going to explore mental wellness, personal growth, discovering your purpose, and knowing why you were created. Every week, we dive down into powerful conversations, life changing insight, and practical tools to help you heal, grow, and walk boldly in your calling. If you ever felt like there was something more to your life, guess what? You're in the right place. Why? Because this is the place where purpose is discovered, clarity is built, and lives are changed. Hey, welcome to my podcast, the Purpose Lab. I have a wonderful, wonderful friend on tonight. Coach Ebony. She's going to be with us and we're going to jump right in. I'm going to let her introduce herself and then we're going to jump right into the podcast. Let's go.
Hey, hey, hey. Thank you so much for having me on. I am Coach Ebony Lachelle. We are so glad to be working with my brother Marlon. He has been a guest on several of our podcasts that we have had. I am a coach, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an author, and I'm just a child of the Most High, just looking to help push people to their purpose just like you are. So let's get it.
All right, let's do it. First thing is, why does it seem like people walk in clarity while others feel stuck?
I think some people walk in clarity because they have already kind of decided what it is that they want to do. And so while some people have found their purpose a lot easier than others, they may find it earlier in life.
Yeah,
So, and they may have had something given to them. A lot of times you see generations of people who are generations of family who walk along the same lines because they learned how to do that. So for some people, they see, well, my mother or my father did this, and this is something that I
yeah,
want to continue. So it was is some of it is easy for people. They flow right into it. They've had it given to them, and they can work it. And for other people, I think it's just, sometimes clarity comes a little bit later in life. You don't necessarily know what path you want to go. And so it just takes you a little bit to get there. So I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of being groomed for the purpose that you walk out, because some people are groomed to walk in what they walk, and they never question that that's what they're supposed to do. And some people walk in something and think, you know what, hey, maybe this isn't for me, and it takes them a little while to find their niche. So I think it's circle back around. I think it's a multitude of things. I think sometimes people are given their purpose and they walk in it, and then I think sometimes it just takes you a little bit to find it.
go back to that. Now, you said some people are given their purpose. So, what do you mean by giving their purpose? Because you can look at it as what does finding your purpose actually mean in real life? Because you said giving your purpose.
Yes, so I think that sometimes, so let's just take, for example, some of our pastors that run mega churches.
Right. I know.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes these churches are gifted to them. Their fathers or, parents have run that ministry so long, and when the parent retires, the child comes in and runs it.
Yeah.
For me, that's it almost like they had a predestined purpose because they
Right.
were groomed to do that. So for
Okay. Okay.
them, their purpose comes early in life, their perceived purpose, and they take that purpose on. So for them, it's clear because they know no other way.
I got you.
So that's why I say some people were nurtured into that. So, and I think you were given that line to walk, that path to follow. So that's why I say some people were given theirs, and some people are given something, and that's when I said, well, they are walk something that, and they don't necessarily know for sure that that's what they're supposed to be doing. Then they come back and be like, you know what, this isn't for me, and those people have to go back and navigate and find their way.
Yeah, that's good because you're right. Sometimes people inherit like churches, and that's
Hmm.
not really their purpose, but they walking in it because they feel like that's because
What they're
daddy
supposed to
did
do.
it, yeah, or mama did it, and that's really not their purpose. They're walking in somebody else's shoes, and when they get in there and they feel like, hey, this is not for me. So you gotta reverse back up and jump right into something different to find why you were created and don't follow mama or daddy path. So what
Right.
role does our environment play in shaping or limiting our purpose, like our family, our friends, our culture? What do you think? How does our environment play in that role?
Environment, there's always in the scientific world where they talk about environment versus nurture. Can you take somebody who has certain traits and let's say two people, same traits, you put them in one environment is rough, where the other environment they're nurtured. Those people are going to could possibly turn out the same. They could possibly turn out completely different. But for me, I believe that environment plays a major role in how someone turns out. So let's say, we're church kids. For kids who are reared up in that environment where, especially for me being AME, you learn public speaking as a child because they go in, them old ladies wanted you to know those Easter speeches.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
got yeah.
you know, so you're trained differently. So whether you are trained on how to speak publicly, how to be cultured per se in public, how, we have different, etiquettes. So that will dictate how you respond to the world. And as far as cultural norms, what's going on in popular culture dictates how our children or how we respond to things, what we view as acceptable and what is not acceptable. Culture as a whole dictates how we respond to the world. So I think that also dictates what you feel purposeful in and doing. Just like 20 years ago, mental health wasn't a big push. Well, now it's a major push. So that difference will dictate how people choose their career goals or how they treat people when they come to church and they're feeling some type of way, whether they just saying, you're not depressed, that's just a spirit, we're gonna pray that off of you, versus somebody saying, well, let me connect you with someone that can counsel you, and let's see what, we're gonna pray for you, but we're gonna send you to the counselor too. So
Right.
culture dictates how purpose is pushed.
And when we look at family and friends, I think also as well, because your family can push you into doing something you really don't want to do. And that goes back to you inheriting a church or whatever it may be. And your friends, if they're not on the same path that you're going, and it's limiting your purpose because, you're trying to do one thing and they're trying to do another thing.
Something else.
So they are limiting, because they're pulling you away, but you have to be the one that say, you know what, this is my calling, this is my assignment that God has put me on. So once you realize what your assignment is and what your purpose is, then your family and friends, even the culture, can't stop you because you are focused on what God has for you.
For you.
And I think for us, and when we're talking about purpose, that's one thing that we really have to do is watch who we surround ourselves with,
Absolutely.
because everybody
Absolutely.
don't have the good interest in for you.
No,
Everybody don't have your best interest,
no.
because you got
It's a,
people that hate you, don't they hate on you because you're doing good instead of trying to lift you up and encourage you.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's I have this thing that me and my friends used to say. You have to watch because sometimes you have what I like to call unintentional Judases around you.
Uh, that's
So,
good.
you may have someone who necessarily may think that they present as your friend, and you might actually think they're your friend, but you know what? They might have a little jealousy in there. And they probably out here talking about you, they betraying you, but just by because if somebody come and tell me something about you, but you my friend, and I don't defend you, that's a betrayal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you sometimes you have those monitoring spirits around you and you don't even know that they're there,
That's
but
good.
sometimes they might not even realize that they're jealous of you.
Yeah.
So you
Well, I'm with you. Yeah.
definitely have to be careful with who you decide to surround yourself with. My daddy always said birds of a feather flock together.
All
So
together.
you do have to be careful in who you align with because you either gonna pull them up or they gonna pull you down.
Yep.
And you
And
you,
be
you gotta
careful who
decide
you let
which way.
speak into your life.
And who you let put their hands on. You can't let
Yeah.
everybody touch you. You can't let
No,
everybody pray for you because what you praying about? I need to know. And who you praying
What's your
to?
motive?
What is your motive? What do you want?
Right. And that goes to my next question is, do distractions delay your purpose
Oh,
delivery? Like
of
social
course.
media, busyness, that type of things.
Yeah,
Anything, any kind of distraction. What distraction? Let's talk about it.
man. Social media is a powerful tool. And however, you have to make sure that even though it has allowed words and missions to go forth and reach the masses. We have this song, How to Reach the Masses.
Yeah.
But in reaching the masses, you still have to make sure that what you are doing is aligned with the will of God. Because anything that you start putting up that is more important becomes the idol and a distraction. So while you're out trying to, push the word out, if that is interrupting your quiet time with God, then it is no longer part of the mission and the purpose. It has become a
Gotta say it.
distraction. And so you have to be, it's a fine line. It's a fine line. And we walk the line, but you have to make sure that while you're trying to push your purpose, that you don't become so enthralled with the purpose that you forget that we're supposed to be pushing towards the mark of the higher calling, and you let this little things that you're doing become the calling and become the focus, and Jesus and God is no longer the focus. So I think social media, while it is a powerful tool, it can become a distraction. Family, friends,
Mm.
and everything else, and really church can be a distraction
Yeah.
if you start putting the busyness of the church
You better
above
say it.
worship,
Yeah.
then that is a distraction.
Yeah.
If you too tired from running around doing everything and doing this and the third to actually absorb the worship that is going on in the church, then you're missing the mark. You're missing the mark. You're letting the business, the work overtake the purpose and the mission, and that's for us to be a light unto others and to be servants of the Most High. So it's a fine line, and we definitely have to walk the line.
It's no longer ministry then. When you
No,
It becomes work, another job.
it's another job, and it's easy to do. It's
It
easy to do
is.
when you trying to run the children's ministry, and you got to go to choir rehearsal, and you got to get this the play together.
Yeah.
Or you got men's fellowship over here, or you got to go teach Bible study. We have to be careful
Routine.
that it doesn't become routine. We have
Yep.
and that we keep it in line of worship. I was talking to a young man the other day, and he plays the piano, and he had stopped, and he was just like, I'm doing da 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 da, and I was like, well, honey, I said, this
Gonna be my
is
next
your
question right there. I get you. Go ahead.
I was like, this is your gift from that God has put within you. You have to take this time to you use that as your time of decompression. You use that as your time of worship. This is how you're gonna go and talk to God about everything else that has been going on. This is the time that you use for that. So therefore we can't just put stuff off to the side. Life is one thing life gonna do is life. That's not gonna stop until our last breath. Cultivate time to make sure that we stay in worship.
So, what do you think the biggest reason that people struggle to find their purpose?
I think it's several things. I think fear plays a part in things. I think sometimes, and what's so crazy is I think people fear achievement. I think
Mm.
sometimes when you get stuck in the going to get it phase, when you hustling, when you pushing, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, that's yeah.
so fear of actually achievement. I think fear of failure because nobody wants to fail.
No.
In the corporate world, people say fail fast because when you fail
Heard
fast,
that.
when if you go ahead and you do something and you fail,
Yeah.
people don't view, but that's a victory in and of itself because now you have figured out one thing that does not work. So you know how to go back. You have to adjust, adapt, and overcome. So that failed. We go back and reassess and do it again.
To say, I know we say fail, but I like to say you had a learn episode. You learned.
You had a learning experience. Go ahead and learn that and get it
Yeah,
out the
let's go ahead
way.
and learn and get it on out the way.
You know, you want to feel some type of way about it. That's fine.
Yeah,
You go over there, cry a little bit, and
dust yourself
then
off, keep going.
you know, dust yourself off, and we're gonna
Yeah.
try this thing again. Definitely, fear of achievement, fear of failure, and fear of failure also comes with a fear of opinions. You know, because while you know
People opinion.
it's okay to fail in silence,
Mm,
but then if you have a learning experience and everybody know,
mm.
nobody wants to disappoint their family or their friends, you know, because it's embarrassing. But fear, I think, is one of the number one things of people not actually walking in their purpose. They're either afraid to actually succeed,
Mm.
they're afraid to
Uh,
fail,
oh, those are
and then
good.
they're afraid of other people's opinions. So that's my answer.
And you about gave me the answer to my next question is why do some people quit before they ever get clarity? And you about just gave it to me.
Yeah, I mean they, you know, because and when you're seeking clarity,
Yeah.
when you're in a state of uncertainty, sometimes it's easier to give up. You know, be like, oh, you know, I tried it. But, you know, knowing when you got to go back and dig your feet down in that thing a little bit harder, you know, and you know, be like, you know, okay, let's do this thing. My daddy always said the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the extra. And some people don't want to go in there and get
Good.
that extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, but in order to be set apart, you got to set apart. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you got to get in there and do something
Yeah.
to make you different, to make you stand above the rest. You have to, if you want to rise, you got to do something to do that because everybody is on one level. But in order for us to truly walk in purpose, and you know what, we also people be afraid to actually just go on and walk. You know, they be afraid to let Jesus lead them
Get
and
out.
to
Oh,
walk
I
by
just thought
faith.
about that the
Because you
other
know
day.
what, like we want to see. I want to see. Be like, Lord, where we going? And why my eyes blinded? Why I can't see? You know, just walking by faith is much easier said than done. And
It's
so I
definitely
think
that.
people give up because they don't want to put that extra little bit in there, and they don't want to follow the path when you don't know where it's going. Because it's so much harder to drive on a winding road than it is a straight path because you can't see. So they be scared.
This gonna be the last question of this episode, and then we gonna give you some closing remarks, and then we gonna get out of here. So,
Okay.
how does discipline connect to purpose?
Man. So discipline, and I ain't even gonna lie, that's an area I be struggling in. I wish my mother is so disciplined, and I wish I was more like her. But discipline is like having faith on tap to me. Like, you
Mm,
know, it's like I'm gonna do this thing regardless of if I actually see an immediate outcome.
yeah,
So it's being, you know what, because this is what the Lord told me to do. I don't see nothing yet. It's like, you know, going to the gym. You don't see nothing that first day.
no,
You don't see nothing the second day. Sometimes you don't see nothing that first 30 days, if we be for real. But you're going because you have the faith anyway that what you're doing is going to give you some different results. Being disciplined, we have to be disciplined in order to achieve the purpose because being disciplined is what continues to drive you towards the goal. Discipline and purpose are very much codependent
they go
on
hand
each
in
other.
hand,
They go hand in hand. You have to be disciplined if you're going to decide to walk out a purpose. You
and
got
that's
that.
what I like. That And like me, I'm on my weight loss journey. You know, I work out at home, so I have to be
Hmm.
consistent and I have to be disciplined because at home you got so much distraction that can stop
Yeah,
you from doing.
all the distractions at the house.
Yeah, so that's the same thing when you walk in, you know, in your purpose and you on your assignment. You got to be disciplined enough to know that, hey, I got to do this, I got to do that, even when I don't feel like it, but I still got to do it because I know
Still
this
got to
is
do
my
it.
assignment, this is my purpose, this is why God placed me here. And you keep going because I'm disciplined and I got faith and I'm going to keep trusting God and moving. So, you know, yeah, discipline and purpose go hand in hand. What are your
Very
final
much so.
remarks? Give me some good, give the people some good
Let me see.
closing remarks.
You know what? And this is so cliche. We hear it all the time, but do it scared.
I
Do it
don't know if I
scared.
ever heard that.
Really, do it scared because who in the Bible that God sent to go do something that was like, you know what? Okay, Jesus, I got it.
Nobody.
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 Nobody. Everybody was like, Lord, that's not my strong point. You want me to be poor. This my child. I got a lisp. I stutter. Why, Lord? So we have to, if you're going to, you have to know that if just because something is your purpose, it's not always going to feel good and it's not always going to be easy.
Ooh, that's
So
good.
it and people think, and I think that's something that people don't realize that purpose doesn't equate to ease.
Mm.
So you have to just do it anyway. You have to do it, and that goes with being disciplined. You have to do it when it doesn't feel good. You have to do it when nobody is supporting you. So, and that's scary. So do it scared.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So as we close out this episode, I thank Coach Ebony for jumping on and having a
Yeah.
good talk with us. And guess what? Remember, your story matters. Your gift matters and your purpose matters. Hey, this is the Purpose Lab with Marlon Vickers and Ebony. We're going to help you discover your purpose. We're going to help you discover why you're here. Catch us on the next episode of the Purpose Lab. Peace.